Hey, what's going on? So, did you know that basically 350 million people suffer from some type of depression at some point in their life on average? That's crazy, and that's from the World Health Organization, and that to me seems really crazy. I mean, I already said that it seems crazy that 350 million people would deal with depression at some point in their life, on average, like right now, 350 million people. But if you really think about it, I think that that's pretty accurate, because whether it's you or somebody you know, chances are depression has affected you in some way within your life. Because it's just so common, and especially in this day and age where we deal with so much stress and our bodies are under so much pressure, mentally, emotionally, physically, that it's bound to happen. And the worst thing I think about it is that it's very taboo, and that nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to even admit that they're dealing with it, and that in essence is what really takes that's like how the depression really takes grip of you, because you don't want to admit that anything's going on, and you don't want to share it with anybody else because of fear that somebody might judge you, which in turn, that judgment makes the depression that much worse, because depression really plays it plays with your mind like awful bad, and it makes you believe that you are so alone, even when you're not. When there are people around you that would help and support you, it really makes you believe that you don't have anyone to turn to. And if you do, that if they find out, then they may leave too. And the reason why I say this and why I can really speak from my heart on this is because I dealt with that for many, many years. And you know, I still struggle from time to time with depression, but thankfully it is not what it once was. It doesn't have a grip on me like it did. And you know, I was medicated for it for over 18 years, and had come to a place where I was able to battle my depression naturally. And it was all on coincidence that I found these tools to be able to battle it. I didn't go out trying to seek a natural way to get around depression. I was medicated, and I was just living life the way I needed to live life, and that was the only way. Unfortunately, the medications were causing me side effects from long-term usage that were starting to almost get me depressed, that I was having these side effects. So it was a blessing in disguise that my depression had waned a bit due to the tools that I used naturally to combat against it. So that when the time came that I was able to say, enough is enough, I need to find another way, that these medications cannot be what I rely on anymore, because they're kind of tearing me apart from the inside out. So while that was my journey, I do not say, you know, oh, you need to do this, because medications definitely play an important role. They helped me a great deal. They helped me get past some extremely dark days of my life, and so I'm greatly appreciative to it. I just have found tools around it, and these tools can be implemented along with medication. I mean, that's where I began. And so a couple of the natural ways that I found that helped me to boost my battle against depression, to get around depression. All right, so I began to listen to positive things. I began to fill my mind with positive words, affirmations. I turned to I turned to personal development that I would read or listen to, and I also really actually listened to a sermon. I would listen to Elevation Church. It is a church out of North Carolina, and the pastor is Pastor Stephen Furtick, and I listened to him pretty much every single morning, and I actually go to sleep to it too, because you know what, that morning time and that nighttime when you're going to bed, those are the times where your mind begins to race and really starts to try to play that game, to try to pull you down. And I found that when I was feeding my mind with that positive energy right from the start, or when I would go to bed at night, that my negative thoughts didn't hold any weight in me. I was able to focus on whatever he was saying enough to not have those negative thoughts. So that was the way that I battled that. And then some days are worse than others, and I will listen to stuff throughout the entire day. And I find that listening works better for me because I'm not the most super fast reader in the world, but also I can listen to something while I'm doing something. Another thing is I found a support network, a support system. It might be for you to go to a counselor or to go to a health, not a health coach, but a life coach. That's what I was trying to come up with. A life coach. Or it might just be like, it might be a pastor, or it could be just a group of people that are going through the same type of struggle as you are. Or it could be completely off that, and it could be just a very positive community of people that just live a more positive, uplifting life that you can tap into, and you can feed off of their positive energy and their happiness and their enjoyment in life. That's totally huge. I found that in a community that had to do with fitness and health, and I noticed that, you know, these people also just were more positive and happy and uplifted all the time. So I would be able to go into that community and pretty much immediately find a happy spot that I could talk to somebody, and not necessarily about what I was struggling with, but just having that happiness around you brings you up so that you're not in your mind cutting yourself down like you would when you are struggling with depression, because that's what the depression does. Also, I started exercising just as little as 10 to 20 minutes a day. 15 to 20 is a great way to get those endorphins and positive chemicals in your body going, and you will feel a difference when, like I know I did, just within 10-15 minutes of a workout. By the time I was done, my mental emotional state was in much happier spot when I did that. And scientifically, they do say that helps, and long term, if you're doing it 3-5 days a week, that it can help boost your mind and battle against depression better. Another thing is I began to get adjusted by a chiropractor. That helped immensely. Basically, why is because it maximizes your nervous system health, and it takes the pressure off of your spine, and it allows your body to adapt to things easier. So, being able to adapt to what's going on in your world, being able to adapt to the stresses and everything, that plays a huge role. And then your brain and your body can communicate easier when it's all in line. So I found that those things really helped me out a lot. And I am going to be posting a blog later on today that has a few more other tips, like turning down coffee, for instance. I know I didn't even realize it. I had done that myself eventually, but apparently living on a pot of coffee is also not good for you when you're dealing with depression because coffee, while it does have many helpful things to it, many nutritional benefits, it boosts your energy really high, and then you come down and you crash. And when you crash, it tends to make you more irritable and then more tired, and that makes your depression worse. But so I'm going to be sharing a few more tips and ideas to battle depression naturally, and I will post that blog here later on today. And if you have commented or liked on this video, when I post the link in here, you'll get notified that I had done so. So I would love to hear what ways you may have battled depression yourself. If you're willing to share, I would greatly appreciate it. I would love to see it in the comments. And I just feel like this is something that people need to know is something that you can do. People need to be less fearful of the judgment that can go along with depression. And the more we talk about it, the less of a grip that depression has on us as a society. And I feel like it is super, super important that depression be talked about and shared, and that no one feels like they're alone in their journey through battling depression, because it's a stinky road, and you're not alone, and I hope everyone knows that. And all right, well, I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and make sure that you check back for that blog later on today. And I'll also just be posting it on my page. And yeah, I greatly appreciate your time, you guys. Thanks for hopping on with me. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.